What's up guys, welcome to Veldora-kun. From our previous episodes, we have seen the king's revival and heard Diablo's conditions for the kingdom of Farmus. If you haven't watched the previous episodes, we will put the links in the description below. You can watch in these videos what happened during the Walpurgis battle and the upcoming events. Just a quick warning, this videos contains spoilers from the light novel. Also, I want to introduce to you our Discord community. I present to you the Veldora-kun subordinates. If you wish to join our server, the link is in the description below. See you there. So now in this video we will review what happened next, where Diablo finishes his narration to Master Rimuru and the Imperial Conference happens. But before we will proceed, please like, subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell. Now without further ado, let's proceed with the video. When Diablo left, King Edmulus issues orders to summon all of the nobles to an imperial conference, and it was planned in 3 days. The available time is still quite limited for all of the nobles to be gathered. The next day, the ones being summoned are all the most trusted subordinates of the king. King Edmulus begins to explain the whole event, and everyone listens in silence. The king is trying to get everyone on the same decision as him before the imperial conference is held. King Edmulus urges the crowd to give their opinions on the matter. One of his subordinates said, "Jura Great Forest is a forbidden land guarded by Veldora. Even the Eastern Empire doesn't dare to march on it unprepared. It would be utmost foolishness for us to challenge it alone." And the crowd agrees, which leaves them with option 1 and 2. But they also do not want the Farmus nation to be controlled by the monster nation. One of them also complained that 10,000 star gold coins? That exchanges to around 1 million gold coins, and that would be 20% of our total national tax. The king remains silent as he listens carefully to what the nobles and ministers have to say. And he thinks to himself, how beautiful it is for a person to possess both petite appearance and an intimidating aura. He is the monster ruler called Rimuru and a fearsome demon lord. While he recalls those memories, he feels the fear again deep down his heart. Because it reminds him of the days he was turned into meatloaf, and he doesn't want to experience the suffering again, and that's why he decided to convince the ministers. He realized his defeat as he accepts the reality of the birth of a new demon lord and the revival of Storm Dragon. He was blinded by desires, and if only he began their relationship peacefully, all of this shouldn't have happened. He began to analyze the 3 options Diablo gave them, and he knows that whichever option they select, it would all help Diablo reach his goal. That's why King Edmulus begins to ponder on it by himself, which option would cause the least damage. Option 3 is obviously not the best choice, because not only the citizens will be killed, but everyone. Option 2 seems like a good option, because it can ensure both the well-beings and prosperity of the citizens, and also, he has had a glance of the beautiful streets of Tempest Federation, and some adventurers are even having a good time hanging out with monsters. It's a beautiful thought, but he still decides not to settle on that option, because even if the nobles surrender unconditionally, it would be impossible to have them all willingly be controlled. And it might start a protest where everything will be out of control. Now, the option 1 seems to be their safest choice. Where King Edmulus must step down as a king, and the new heir must swear not to execute a war with the opposite nation. Diablo has also discussed with King Edmulus about him wanting to crown Youm as the new king and building a new kingdom. King Edmulus has 3 children, his eldest daughter, youngest daughter, and eldest son. His both daughters have been married to other kingdoms. Now, the crown is only available to his eldest son, but the son is just about to reach the age of 10 and is far from mature. If King Edmulus is to resign, he would struggle in choosing an heir, and he is well aware of the people who desires the throne. It's his little brother, Duke Edward, which is the head of the Optimates. And King Edmulus is well aware that Diablo intends to have the royalist and the Optimates fight to the death over the inheritance of the crown. Now as King Edmulus thinks about it, whichever option of the 3 would eventually lead to conflict, and it's all just a part of Diablo's plan. He asked everyone to settle down and pay attention to what he's about to say. I've heard that their kingdom is called Jura Tempest Federation. Many different races residing in the Jura Great Forest now follow the ruler called Rimuru. I think we could join this big family as well." One of the ministers asked if the king is suggesting that they should be controlled by the other nation, and King Edmulus said that it's not the case, he was just simply surprised by how well managed that kingdom is. He also admitted that the war is his fault, he didn't do it for the people, but for his own desire, and his arrogance has led to the awakening of Veldora and brought disaster his kingdom. There won't be a second chance, nor will there be a second time. It is because of him, Rimuru Dono, the leader of monsters, that I was able to survive. So this should not happen again. At this point, my reputation and dignity are all irrelevant now. We should do what's best for the people and must all aim now to come up with such solution. The ministers are all shocked because the king, the unfair and selfish king, has confessed his wrongdoings. These ministers also begin to reflect upon their past actions and have come to realize their selfishness. The ministers rise up from their seats and kneel before the king. Then Marquis Muller said, "Apologies, our king. We've also been foolish in the past. We shall find out the best solution for the people of this nation." After that, they invited Youm's party as advisors to continue the meeting without knowing when it will end. And that ends the narration of Diablo on his journey to Pharma's kingdom. Rimuru was surprised and asked Diablo if he really showed the chopped King Edmulus, and Diablo said, "Yes. I think it is most effective to give them fear." Rimuru thinks that it's really disturbing, but that is totally what a demon lord like him should do. His image as an upstanding man with principle has now been turned to a bloodlusting monster. Oh, and about the condition of a peace treaty, I proposed a compensation of 10,000 star gold coins. Diablo added, and Rimuru is super shocked. 10,000 star gold coins? A copper coin exchanges to around 100 yens, a silver coin to 10,000, and a gold coin to approximately 1 million. Diablo's intelligence is really something else, and he understood Rimuru's plan of coexistence and growth through economic dominance. If one can control the flow of currency, one would hold the world economy in his grip. Rimuru asked if Diablo may be demanding too much from the Pharma's kingdom, and Diablo said that he gave them 3 options, but it's obvious that they will fall for the first one. Jura Tempest just planned to at least get 1,000 star gold coins and negotiate with Pharmas afterwards. 100 billion yen, that's an amount far beyond expectation, but this seems hardly enough for Diablo, as he also plans to start a civil war. What do you intend to do aside from them compensating our loss? Rimuru asked him, and Diablo replied, King Edmulus may be set free, but he's under the influence of my unique skill, Tempter, and he would act entirely according to my will. Diablo thus has control over his life and death. He should remain loyal to Diablo, and the moment he thinks of betraying, Diablo would instantly be notified. The situation in the Pharma's kingdom would be, King Edmulus would step down from his throne and lead to the collapse of his authority. Wherein no doubt, the criticisms and blamed would be put to him. The Royal Knight Order was massacred by Rimuru, which leaves the royal family unguarded, so King Edmulus cannot stand against the nobles. The Optimates would get this chance to make King Edmulus as a sacrifice, and the royalist doesn't have any military to back themselves up. This is where Youm's party comes in. King Edmulus knows that Diablo wishes to crown Youm as the new king, but it would be too out of place for King Edmulus to crown him suddenly. But if they could build him into a figure of their savior, they could perform the fall of royal family and their will to be carried forward by Youm. If that's the case, all we need to do is to send reinforcement for Youm. Am I correct? Rimuru asked Diablo. As expected of Diablo, he is the perfect example of someone who elegantly conducts his mission and upholds the belief perfection is 80% planning and 20% working. With Diablo's explanation, the details of the plan have been confirmed. While Rimuru and Diablo are having tea, Haruna serves them with matcha pudding. Immediately after, Veldora, who has been reading manga silently, went to them and asked, "Oh, is there a serving for me?" Then Diablo gives his pudding to Veldora and says, "Veldora-sama, here's my end of the bargain as promised." And then Veldora is now satisfied. Rimuru then asked Diablo, "By the way, are you back in Tempest? Because you finished your work in Pharmas while I was at the Walpurgis banquet?" Then Diablo responded, after giving my threat to the king and the ministers, I went to different locations within Farmus to examine their financial status, and that's when Veldora-sama contacted me and summoned me back. He just said Veldora's secret and Veldora got up nervously from his seat and said, I've suddenly recalled something to attend to. Rimuru locked his hand tightly on Veldora's shoulder with incredible speed and said, Ara, don't act so hastily now, Veldora-kun. Veldora tries his hardest to escape, but Rimuru takes his pudding from him and order Haruna-san to not give any dessert to him for now. Veldora cried. When the Imperial Conference came, things have gone according to Diablo's prediction. The king starts his discussion, our troops marched on to destroy the Jura Tempest Federation, yet they were slaughtered by the revived storm dragon Veldora. There are only 3 survivors, me, Raisin and Raham. We've been defeated. A commotion in the room came after hearing the last line. The king then announces that he accepted the terms of monsters to pay 10,000 star gold coins as compensation for the war. The nobles were mad because they don't trust the monsters and they will bankrupt the country. The nobles start suggesting approaches in attacking the kingdom with the help of the Western Saints Church. These people keep on relying to others and have never experienced a taste of fear. The nobles got furious and start to accuse the king for being responsible and claimed that the compensation should be paid by the royal family and the monster's conditions must be rejected. Then, unite the Farmus army and attack one more time without considering the fact that their army is greatly reduced. While the meeting is in chaos, the king's brother Edward speaks, Brother, I mean, Your Highness. Even with you stepping down, you can't ignore responsibility. How could a dignified king just surrender like this? And King Edmulus responded, Our enemy is Storm Dragon Veldora. My dignity and glory are like trash to that dictator. Perhaps you wish to fight for this glory. I won't stop you. But you would be sending the soldiers to die for a lost cause. And their argument continues. When the meeting turned quiet, Earl Herman carefully speaks, Could you hear me out? This morning, I received a letter containing very important information. I would like to deliver the message to you all. After opening the letter, he reads the contents. Bloomin Kingdom officially supports Tempest Federation and would be sending military force to hold Farmus Kingdom accountable. The nobles got more furious but toned down when they heard what the foreign trade minister said. The Dwargen Kingdom has made the same statement as Bloomin Kingdom. Suddenly, a soldier enters the room and announces, Message for His Majesty. Urgent news just arrived from the Freedom Association. When he was given the chance to speak, he announced, Monster Rimuru has proclaimed himself the ruler of Jura Great Forest. Report states that he publicly announced that he has become a demon lord. The nobles thought what kind of sorcery is this and thinks that this will be their opportunity. One of them said, those demon lords won't sit this one out. That arrogant Rimuru would soon learn the horror of the real demon lords. But they are dumbfounded when the soldier continued his announcement. Demon Lord Clayman was discontented and challenged Rimuru. Demon Lord Rimuru has allegedly eliminated him instead. They got shocked and asked, how about Demon Lord Carrion and Frey, and why did they give away the rights of Jura Great Forest to a newcomer? The soldier finishes up the last sentence and said, Carrion and Frey has given up their seat as Demon Lords to join the reign of Demon Lord Milam. The component of Demon Lords is thus altered as well. The now 8 Demon Lords in total are called the OCTAGRAM. The meeting room is clouded by silence before King Edmulus decides to open up after his thorough consideration. The head of Tempest Federation Rimuru is a monster beyond our imagination. My will to step down has been determined. I've been blinded by my mistakes. Had we chosen another approach to interact with them, they might have been a good neighbor of ours. Everyone finally decides to accept reality and follows through with King Edmulus's proposal. I'm stepping down. In addition, I'm recommending Edward to inherit the throne. Edward seems delighted with the king's decision, and the ministers all hold different views, whereas some nods in agreement with this decision. They all ask how about the king's son Edgar, and the king responded, there are still many challenges ahead of us. Edgar is still too young to conquer them properly. Then Marquis Muller agreed to the king. He said, my lord, I think this is a great idea. Later on, The great and ancient kingdom of Farmus agrees and signs the Treaty of Peace with Jura Tempest Federation. It has been proven the Tempest Federation possesses military strength, and the ruler of that nation is the new demon lord Rimuru and an ally of storm dragon Veldora. The facts are all listed right in front of them, so no nation would dare to start a war against Tempest Federation. Acting too rashly may even lead to the destruction of their nations. From that day onward, Rimuru has become an existence that no one dares to obstruct. He has become a demon lord of this world, a catastrophe-ranked threat. And that concludes the Farmus Kingdom phase. Everything is unfolding according to Diablo's plan. And that's it. Thank you for watching my video. Sorry it took me a week to upload another video. See you on my next content.